Now, speaking of crazy opinions, I don't quote every childish thing that Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweets to her enraptured fans because there's only 24 hours in a day. But this one, well, it was especially weird and noteworthy. A follower asked, "How do you respond when people accuse you of being a socialist?" The answer to that, of course, is that she is a socialist. She calls herself a democratic socialist, which is a distinction without a difference. But for some reason, she decided to whisper conspiratorially into the camera. Watch.
I'll tell you a secret. Most people don't really know what capitalism is. Most people don't even know what socialism is. But most people are not capitalists because they don't have capitalist money. They're not billionaires. Sometimes the label doesn't matter as much as just talking about policies. That's easier to understand. Do you think people should die because they can't afford insulin? Do you think that fossil fuel CEO should decide whether the planet gets set on fire? Me neither.
If she learned this in her Boston University economics class, she ought to demand a refund of her capitalistic parents' tuition money. Capitalism isn't the money billionaires have. It's the economic system that allows people who start with nothing to become millionaires and billionaires. You can see why I don't bother to talk about this subject a whole lot, but that one particular one, well, it was crazy enough to make the news, and it's a good lead-in to this introduction of her Republican challenger, Tina Forte. She's a small businesswoman who supports the police, border enforcement, and school choice. She recently said AOC and her allies have killed New Yorkers with their bail reform and soft-on-crime policies, imprisoned us in our homes with lockdowns, ruined small businesses with shutdowns, violated our rights with mandates, and tortured children with masks for political science, not medical science. Enough is enough. New Yorkers have suffered because these liberals acted like dictators drunk on power. They must be stopped, and it starts with firing AOC. Well, she even had a better answer than AOC to the question of why people call AOC a socialist. Here's what she said. AOC is a communist sympathizer. She's the darling of the Democratic Socialists of America, a Marxist organization that glorified Cuba's Castro regime and Venezuela's Maduro regime. You've got to also love her campaign slogan, "Make AOC bartend again." Sadly, AOC represents a New York district that is so blue, Nancy Pelosi was likely referring to it when she said that in some New York races, a glass of water with a D after its name could win. But who knows? Maybe this is the year when even in districts like that, a Republican could have a chance, especially when the Democrat glass of water is half empty and obviously cracked.